Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a rapidly escalating international crisis with seismic implications, the unfolding drama involving Russia, Iran, China, and the United States. In recent days, tensions have taken a sharp turn. Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, reportedly extended a nuclear missile offer to Iran, provoking a stern warning from Tehran. China, observing as a partner of both Russia and Iran in certain strategic arenas, has chimed in. Meanwhile, the United States, under the influence of former President Donald Trump's approach to foreign policy and nuclear issues, is also responding. The pieces are moving, and it's important we unpack what's going on, what's at stake, and what might come next. Let's begin by setting the stage. The backdrop is a region already on edge. Iran has been under intense international scrutiny for its nuclear ambitions, its missile program, and its regional alliances, particularly aligning with Russia and, by extension, China at times. Meanwhile, Russia, struggling with its war in Ukraine and global sanctions, has been seeking new alliances and bargaining chips. China, while often less publicly aggressive, is also not just a bystander. Its strategic interests in countering US dominance and in the Middle East are becoming more visible. The reported offer from Russia to Iran reportedly involves nuclear missile systems, or at the very least guarantees or technology that would enhance Iran's strategic deterrence. While official confirmation remains murky, the reaction from Tehran was immediate and forceful. Iran warned that any such arrangement would trigger warning lights globally, and that Iran reserves the right to respond accordingly. For Russia, the move makes sense in one respect. It strengthens a strategic partner, signals defiance of US Western hegemony, and potentially shifts the balance in regions like the Middle East, Central Asia, and beyond. For China, this is a delicate moment. On one hand, China values its partnership with both Russia and Iran. They share mutual interest in weakening the US-led international order, diversifying trade ties, and building alternative blocs. On the other hand, China also fears uncontrolled escalation, especially nuclear escalation. Reports show that Beijing warned against US strikes and warned that the region was teetering on a dangerous edge. Le Monde.fr. Thus, while China may not immediately oppose the Russia-Iran dynamic, it is certainly signaling caution. Now, let's bring in the US dimension. Especially under the influence of Donald Trump's foreign policy posture, Trump has repeatedly made plain that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, that America must be strong in deterrence, and that diplomacy must be backed by credible threat, responsible statecraft. In this scenario, Russia's reported overture to Iran is a red flag. It threatens to undermine the US's attempt to curb Iran's strategic capabilities and to bypass the deterrent value of American power. Moreover, it threatens to change the nuclear architecture not only in the Middle East but globally. What are the stakes here? First, proliferation. If Iran were to acquire advanced missile systems or nuclear-capable systems with Russian assistance, the delicate non-proliferation regime could be weakened severely. Countries across the Middle East might feel compelled to respond, sparking a regional arms race. Second, credibility. The US and its allies claim to deter Iran. If Iran can sidestep that via Russian cooperation, then the deterrence value is diminished. Third, escalation risk. We're no longer talking purely about diplomatic sparring or even conventional military balance. We're talking about potential nuclear-capable systems, alliances forming that could cross thresholds. That raises the specter of miscalculation or unintended conflict. In practical terms, we're already seeing reactions. Iran, sensing new strategic leverage, is warning of all options responses. Russia, in its public statements, is taking a hard line, suggesting that world is millimeters away from nuclear catastrophe if things aren't handled carefully. China is warning of broader conflict if direct strikes or further escalation happen. Time. The US, meanwhile, is weighing its options, signaling both deterrence and warning. Diplomatic channels are alive, but under extreme pressure. Let's walk through a plausible timeline of how this could play out. Step 1. Russia formalizes some kind of agreement with Iran. Could be missile technology transfer, could be guarantee of nuclear-capable payloads, or could be strategic alliance signaling. Step 2. Iran uses that newfound capability, or at least signals it, perhaps by increasing missile tests, upgrading its arsenal, or adjusting its threat posture regionally, for example towards Israel. Saudi Arabia or the Gulf states? Step 3. The US and its allies respond, diplomatically at first, but possibly with economic measures, sanctions, or even military deterrence. Step 4. China enters more visibly, either by supporting diplomatic efforts and negotiating frameworks, or by aligning more clearly with Russia-Iran against Western dominance. Step 5. The situation either stabilizes via diplomacy, perhaps mediated by China or Russia, or escalates further into military standoffs, shocking the non-proliferation regime and triggering ripple effects globally. Another angle to consider: the strategic motivations for each actor. For Russia, the benefit is visible. It gains leverage in the Middle East and beyond, ties down Western attention, and strengthens an alliance with Iran that could bear fruit in places like Syria or Central Asia. For Iran, the benefit is obvious. It obtains strategic insurance and looks less isolated, tying itself to a major power partner. For China, the benefit is more subtle. It likes a world where the US is distracted and no longer able to dominate unilaterally. But China also wants a stable flow of energy and global calm for its own economic ambitions. So China's calculus is delicate. It may welcome the shift away from US dominance, but fears the unraveling of world order and the economic disruptions that a nuclear crisis would bring. What about risks or scenario of breakdown? One key risk is miscalculation. If Iran or Russia make real moves that cross red lines, say missile deployments or nuclear capability tests, it could provoke a US or allied military response that risks direct confrontation between nuclear-capable powers. Another risk is regional contagion. If Iran gets new missiles, the Gulf states or Israel may ramp up arms. A third risk is the breakdown of alliances and treaties. Non-proliferation regimes may collapse, and more states may seek their own deterrent capabilities. So what should the world watch for in the next weeks to months? Watch for official announcements of Russia-Iran military agreements, especially referencing missile technology or nuclear-capable systems. Watch for Iran-Russia joint military drills or missile tests. Watch for Chinese mediation efforts or Chinese statements signaling where Beijing stands. Watch for US responses, sanctions, military deployments, diplomatic moves in the UN, or escalatory rhetoric. And finally, watch for signs of regional states shifting alignment. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Israel, Turkey, and their responses to the Iran-Russia dynamic. What would be the implications for us, the global audience, and the world beyond just geopolitics? Firstly, energy markets could be affected. Increased Middle East tension often drives oil prices up, especially if shipping or the Strait of Hormuz becomes threatened. Secondly, global security architecture might face a turning point. If this alliance solidifies and the US deterrent is eroded, we might be stepping into a poorer stability regime. Thirdly, for smaller states, including Pakistan, our region in South Asia, the precedent matters. Nuclear architecture, missile proliferation pathways, and alliances of convenience may shift and reshape how states view security. To wrap up, here's the big picture. We're in a moment where old boundaries are being tested. The US believed it could deter Iran, enforce non-proliferation, and maintain a global order favoring Western interests. Russia believes it can turn its strategic peril into advantage by attaching new partnerships, expanding influence, and challenging the US. China is watching that power shift, but is also wary of chaos. Iran sees a chance to reduce its isolation and enhance its deterrent capability. The key question now: will diplomacy catch up in time to prevent an irreversible shift or escalation? Or will we wake up one morning to a changed world where nuclear-capable alliances in the Middle East and beyond look very different? In conclusion, this is not just another foreign news story, but a potential turning point. The reported missile offer from Russia to Iran, Iran's stark warning, China's caution, and the US's role all combine into a geopolitical moment worth full attention. For our channel today, the takeaway is this: the dynamics of power are in flux, the lines of deterrence are becoming blurred, and whether the world stabilizes or slides towards something more dangerous hangs in the balance. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown useful, please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think will happen next: diplomacy, escalation, or stalemate.